Yeah, so welcome back. Just like every Go project, every Go project definitely you must have an entry file, and this entry file's name is main.go. This is what gets executed. So every other logic you want to put, you can put it elsewhere. But somehow, if you want it to be used in your application, you have to somehow import it in your go.main file. So this is the structure. But before that, let's just initialize a go.mode file. I mean, yeah, let's just get started. So go mod uh, init, then we'll just call it to do app. Yeah, we've done that. So let us create a folder main.go. If you're not familiar with this, is just the same thing we have in package.json if you're coming from a Node.js world, and composer.json if you're coming from a PHP world. So that is just what the go.mod file does. It helps one to hold every package and every dependency that you're going to install into your project. In this case, since we are building a to-do application, we just want to have a server. So first off, we're going to install GoFibre, and to install that, I had already done that before. I think let's just go on the browser and pick it up. Uh, this is how to do that. Would run it here. Mm. So once you've done so, it has installed. You can confirm that here it has installed. Just like the same way we have in package.json, there are other packages that GoFibre is depending upon. So that is why it has it's imported so many packages onto this go.mod file. So, but not to worry, let's just get started. So I'll just go and copy a basic example. I'll copy a basic example and scroll down here and put. Then I want this to be on top, and yeah, I think this is just what I want. Func.main, and we have our app variable. Basically, all we did here, we just initialized the fiber instance, and with that, we can use it to just. So once we hit this part now, the index part of the application, we're going to see this hello world, but I'm going to change that to hello precious because that's my name, and I don't want to do on port 3000. Let's do on port 5000. Yeah, because I just want some control over it. So to test out this, go run main.go, and something is definitely wrong. Address already in use. Address. Let me change this port to 6000. I don't have any. Okay, it's working. It's working. So yeah. So I have a copy it. I'll come here and hello precious. You're seeing that. I'm trying to make it big. Hello precious whenever I want it. Hello precious. Hello precious. Hello precious. So let's get started to building our to-do application. The first thing we are going to what we need, we will be needing a database that is going to hold every task that we are going to do, and we are going to basically be able to add to the database, be able to read all the tasks on the database, and also be able to fetch a single task on the DB, and also be able to update a single task on the DB, and also be able to delete tasks on the DB. So I like to get my applications well structured. I would create a folder here for the database configuration. I will call it config. Then in it, I'm going to have another file known as database.go. I mean, this is the file that is going to hold everything DB. So this will be known as package.config. Then we are going to install GORM, called GORM. It's an ORM for Go. It helps us to do some sort of abstraction when we are trying to communicate with the database. Just like the way we have SQLize on, if you're coming from Node World, we have SQLize, we have Prisma. If you're using PHP Laravel, we have Eloquent. So GORM, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but this is it. GORM, it's ORM for Go. So we are going to install that, and we are using MySQL for this project, so we're also going to install MySQL driver under GORM. So to do that, I'll just copy and paste. I'll also copy the driver and paste. So since we have that set up right now, the next thing we are going to do, is to initialize a database variable. This is going to serve as what is going to hold the connection of the DB. So once I hit this, automatically it goes ahead and imports the GORM that I just installed right now. This is because of I have a tool on my extension that's helping me to do this. Yeah, so if you're using VS Code, once you just install Go language, once the first Go file you're going to create, automatically I think you'll be prompted to install the necessary package you need to install on necessary extension you need to install to help your development to go quicker. So the next thing we are going to do is define another variable. We are going to call this database underscore URL. Then what is the data type? Is going to be a string, and we are going to equal it into the name of our user, the password of our DB, and the protocol we are using to connect to the DB, which is TCP. Then localhost I'm on port 8889, but in your own case I'm sure that it's going to be 3306, because that is usually the case if you're using MySQL. So before now, I've gone ahead and I've created a table. I've created a database rather on my database, my PHP MySQL. So whatever software you're using to manage your database, there's no problem. You can decide to use MySQL directly. You can decide to use a graphic user interface application, no problem. But I've decided to use my PHP for easy database management for me. So I've already created a database here known as to do app. So that is what I'm going to put here. So this is just the database URL. So we're going to define a function that we'll call connect. As the name implies, it's going to serve as a connection to our DB. So we'll watch out for errors, and var, then define, then assigning to the first error, then database that we initially defined as under GORM, then we we're going to first open, which define the driver we're using. It's MySQL that we're using. So I think it imported the wrong driver, the wrong package. It imported the wrong package. For some reason, I'm not seeing the package that I installed. So what I'm going to do, I'll leave this to be this. Then I'm going to, I think the right package should be the right package should be GOM, then driver, this should be the right package if I'm not mistaken. This should be the right package. This is the right package. Then dot open. Then database URL. Then we have some configuration that we want to do. I think one is keep default skip default transaction. So this is just to help you maintain integrity when when a data is being inserted onto your database. You can actually hover on it and read more about it. GORM performs single create, update, delete operation in transaction by default to ensure database data integrity. So you can just read up on that. The next thing we need to do is make this a prepare statement, and it's going to be true. So what does this do? Executes the given query in cached statement. This is basically for efficiency, but if you don't put it, definitely it's going to work, but you need to put it for security reasons. So we are going to go away from this scope and look out for, we're going to look out for error and know that if it's if we don't have any error, then I think we should get the error here. Then what we should do here is call database auto migrate. There is auto migrate method provided by the GORM, and the model, like the scope, like more like a struct that we need here is what we're going to pass. So for that reason, I'm going to leave here blank and just if everything goes well, return null, and we are good to go. We are going to come back to this file. Before then, let's create another folder known as models, and in it, let's create a file known as to do. I think I should call it to do dot go. This is more like this will hold our struct. What is a struct? It's more like a schema, how database schema should look like. And in this case, we are trying to build a to-do application. What is the regular features of to-do? We need a title, we need a description, we need some sort of completion. Is it completed? That should be boolean, either true or false. So we need these things. So first off, let's package.models. Then define the type. The type is, we'll call it to do. Then it's a struct. Then we're using the GORM. I think we're going to have to import this GORM dot model here. Okay, then I think we should go with title. title, then title is a string. Okay, this is important because this is what we intend to send via API, and this is what the struct is going to be expecting when we marshal out the API data that we are going to send. So that's why we are defining this marshal, which is optional actually, but you need to put it because this is what it's going to be expecting. Then we can have a description. Description should still be string, obviously. Then JSON, all we're expecting is we can just call it disk. I think that should work. That should work. I forgot to put my curly braces properly here. We can call it disk, and then the final one, let's just say status. Let's say status, and status can be boolean, and we can define this. Then it should be, all we're expecting is status. That's what we're expecting, and there is something I need us to do. Let's have a default, just in case it's not predefined. Yeah, let's just have a default that is I think this is what I need to do. A default is false. It doesn't make sense that we have a to-do app and we are having a column of status. False. I think we should call this completed. Let it be completed too. So this is all we need. We've just defined our structs, the way our to-do schema is going to look. It's more like the design system of our to-do application. So this is how the entry in the DB is going to look like. So let's go back to our database file that we initially created under the config folder. So there's something we need to do here, because is this struct that we are expecting. Anything we are trying to add to the DB to follow this pattern in this case. So we are going to have to add that here, call it models, and dot to do. Then something is wrong. Missing argument in conversion of okay, it's supposed to be an object. It's supposed to be an object. That is the thing I didn't look at for, so the error has gone off. So we are getting there. The next thing we have to do is to define some functions. I mean, how do we want to add to these tags in our to-do application? How do we want to view all the tags? How do we want to edit? How do we want to edit, which is update? How do we want to delete? So the next thing we have to do, we have to create a file that will hold these functions, and to do that is pretty straightforward. Like pretty straightforward. I always like calling my I'll put mine in a folder known as handlers. That's what I always like calling it. Let me make this bigger for you a little bit. Then I'm going to call it to do. Now we have two to-do files. So this will be package.handlers, obviously, and we have to start defining everything that we need. So the first function we're going to write is function to get all our tags. This is the get request, which is basically the read in when you're doing CRUD operation. So we are going to call it get to do, and so since get to do, we'll be using fiber that we've already installed. So basically we are going to define a context and then a variable that is going to be to-dos. And this variable has not been used. That is why it's showing red sign here. So remember, we defined our database in config. So we're going to get that config. We're trying to access the database connection, and we are trying to make use of this method find. What we're trying to find all the to-dos. If everything checks out well, we are going to return the context and give it a status of 200, because everything checks out well. Then it's going to be a JSON that we are expecting, and what will be in the JSON, the to-dos, and that's just that. I'm meant to put ampersand here. That's what that is called. Yeah. So that's just that. That's what we are. This function now, what it does now, it goes ahead and gets every to-do that we have on our system. So to test this out, even though we don't have anything on our DB right now, to test this out, basically we just have to come to our main.gofile and define another route and import the function that we just created. So to do that, I'll just quickly app dot, it's going to be a get, obviously a get, and API / API and to do. Then I'm trying to get hand of the function, which is in handlers, then dot get to do's. So with this, I can see every tags that I add to the to-do the DB. So when I run this my application, go run main.go, it started. If for any reason the database connection is not correct, it's not going to start, because we are watching for that here. Say for instance, you're watching for that here, and if you see, we have, hold on, okay, we haven't even defined. I need to add something here. I need to import the config here. if anything goes, just in case anything goes wrong with database configuration, I should be able to see the error here. So let me stop this process and intentionally go back and make a mistake. Remember I told them my port is 8889, but I'm removing it. I'm just putting 8189, and which is obviously not correct. So what will happen here now is when I try to run my application right now, definitely it's going to throw an error. Failed to initialize database, got died, blah blah blah, because that port doesn't exist. So I'm going to put it back to the right port and restart. Everything checks out where it's running on port 8000. So let's just go and view all the tags that we have created, which currently we haven't created anyone. So I'll come here and to do, basically I will just duplicate this and call it get, or you can test this in your Postman, get, or then remember the endpoint is API slash todos, and once you hit this endpoint, I want you to know that it returns the response of 200, that everything checks out well. But currently, since we do not have any data saved, that is why this returns an empty array. This should be an array of objects. Yeah, an array of objects once something is in it. So let's go ahead and make another function. This function will allow us to add tags to the database. So to do that, we will have to go back to our handlers folder and go back to the to-do file that we created in the handlers folder. And that is pretty straightforward. So I'll just copy this again and paste, give it a different name, add to do. Then what am I doing here now? I am taking this off because I'm not trying to find right now. I'm just commenting it out. Then I will first of all think this since it doesn't exist, the model doesn't exist, nothing is like that. I'll basically define a to do as this, and equals to, I'll use a new keyword and module.todo. This is what I'll do. Then if I'm trying to check for errors, okay, I'll use a shorthand here now. Body parser. Guess what? This body parser is coming from Fiber, and it's it's giving me the vibe as though I'm writing a Node.js application. I mean, if you're coming from Node, you would know what I'm speaking about. So let's continue. Then, so and people do say that it's if you know Node, picking up GoFibre is going to be a breeze. Maybe this is why. Then we are going to return. That is, if error actually exists, we're going to return a context with a status of something is wrong on the server. So that should be 503. That's the error code I'm going to use. I'm going to send string. I'll just say something bad happened. Something bad happened. That should fix it. This is not supposed to take this, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go back. I'm kind of okay. So I'll have to return the error here. That is why I did some research and figured out, okay, I'll have to put something bad happened. You can't, something bad happened. So something bad happened on the server. So this is just what I want. Something bad happened on the server. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to try to create a to do if there is no error, if everything checks out well. So to do that, config database, then there's a method known as create. This is coming from GORM and ampersand. We are getting the to-dos, we are adding a to-do to it. So if everything checks out well, we are going to return, I'll just copy this and put here, going to return what we just created. I also want to, okay, this makes sense. So to actually test out that this is working and this has worked and we are able to put something on our task, the name of this function is add to do. So we are going to just come to our main.gofi and replicate this. It changes, it has to now it has to be a post request. Then this will be add to do's, then save. Then on our Postman, if you're using Postman, I'm using Thunder client in our VS Code, so I do not want to start switching tabs and all that. So I'll have to duplicate this and rename it to add task. So same endpoint, but the difference now is the method. It's a post method. Now I haven't added anything. Let me just try and call this method. Method not allowed. That is because we need to restart our server, kill this application and restart. And you see, something bad happened on the server. That is the error I'm getting. That is because we did not pass the right params. So remember, this is our model. This is what we are expecting to pass in when we want to create a new task: title, desk, and completed. So to do that, let's go ahead and get that started. Okay, so title, play ball, description, which I shorten as desk. I need to go play ball. Then the completed should be, okay, the completed should be, let's just say false. Let's just call it false. Then when I hit this endpoint now, okay. I think this should, I'm changing this back to a get request, and I have to change this back to a post request so I'll get what I want. You see, once I hit the endpoint, it's been added. Automatically the created ad was done, the updated ad was done, the deleted ad is not, because it has not been deleted yet. And there's a title, there is a description which is null. I don't know why that is happening. I'll have to fix that later. So, but here it is, we are able to add something to the DB. So this is how you can view it. Let's go back and click. You see, we're able to view it. This, we're just viewing it. It's giving us an object, an array of objects. If we add more, it's going to be the next. We're going to see the next object, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. Okay. So I added more than one. Okay, for some reasons, when I try to get them, I'm not doing that. So I think it may be as a result of this. Okay, I'll have to stop this and we try. Okay, and now it's coming. I want to confirm that this thing is being saved on the DB in the first place. Okay, it's being saved. It's being saved on the DB. And for some reasons, I'm not seeing the